Good morning, everybody. The new Epic Destinies are here, and I wanted to give some pro tips about some of the things you can get as very low investment in each of the different Epic Destiny trees, because every tree offers some good stuff. However, you can get a lot of really powerful things, so I'm going to give you some tips and tricks as to just kind of bumps to make your character a lot stronger. So first, we are going to start
SSG
with
ruined
Fatesinger,
everything.
and I forgot to mute that, so that's good. Anyway, thank you. We're going to start with Fatesinger here, and in Fatesinger, you get two things that are very, very strong for pretty much any character. The first is the actual epic strike. Strike a chord, pluck of a string, and the sword sings. All of these are reasonably strong, with both pluck a string and sword sings having a super short cooldown and allowing you to stun on critical hit, which are nice. However, it's not just that you can stun on critical hit, you can't do that with the actual spell attack. The spell attack is just a big buff, but it's the discord that's a follow-up. And the reason why this is important is because even if you don't want to use this epic strike, you want to use another one, you can use discord at any point. It doesn't have like any special cost associated with it, so it just has a cooldown. And it's an area of effect attack, which is good, and it adds a bunch of damage with scaling off of Sonic, I think it's Sonic spell power? Yeah, it all scales off of Sonic spell power. Now, the reason why it's nice as a quick twist is if you actually do use the Epic Strike here, with the melee power scaling here, the range power, or the actual spell power, you get these stacks of Chords of Fate, and you can expend them to have a AoE stun. And so on my Paladin here, for early leveling, instead of using one of the other Epic Strikes that maybe do a little bit more damage, just for the leveling process, having the ability to go Blade of Discord right away into an AoE stun is great. If you're a ranged character, pluck a string. I was on the wrong one. But pluck a string directly into Arrow of Discord, which is right here for an AoE stun. Again, very nice. And then finally, the actual, where is this? Strike a chord for the spell power or the spell damage, and then the stun right here. Now, granted, the stun is probably the least valuable for a spellcaster, because spellcasters can do some other stuff. But for melees, this is amazing, and pretty much every melee can just get a lot of good use out of Blade of Discord, because it's Strength, Dex, Int, and Wisdom. Charisma. Sorry, Wisdom users, you don't get to play. Now, into Unyielding Sentinel, one of the best things you can get right here is Renewal. It only costs 6 points, and to get it as an amazing heal, and I've been using it on this character, so you just got to go in here and grab some 6 points. So you're going to be very happy with this. But even better, along the way to get your Renewal, which is a heal you can use on yourself and anybody else for a very high degree of power, you're also picking up melee power if you're a melee, 35 hit points for just this 1 point here, and some spell points. Plus, you get the absorption, which is great. I have to mute that. But thank you so much for the sub. I'm very grateful. With this one, you have the I'm off track. You actually have the ability to heal yourself and the additional elemental resistances, which are massive for the early leveling process, because all of the minor hits, the damage over times like the burning blood, fireball spells, acid spells, lightning spells, any of those minor spell damage will kind of get mitigated and has almost no cost. So for 6 points, you get a bunch of extra health to help shore up right away at the beginning, and on top of that, you're going to be picking up Renewal for your healing yourself. Divine Crusader doesn't really have a lot of great twists here in terms of what you can get with it for low points. Yeah, Consecration is kind of nice for early leveling, but as I said, Renewal's nice, and it doesn't count as an epic strike. So you can, for the most part, if you don't really want to use Divine Crusader, you can definitely skip over this one in terms of those types of twists. Moving on to Shadow Dancer, Exalted Angel, and Primal Avatar. Shadow Dancer has some awesome utility. For just a few points, you can pick up Step Through Shadow, which gives you the actual Dimension Door, and that's only 6 points by the time that you're level 23. Additionally, you also get Sneak Attack dice from Dance in the Dark, and you get sneak attack dice for each core, which means every single melee person can grab Shadow Training here. You can pick up minus 30% threat, which is pretty nice, as well as the benefits of the Night Shield spell. Any 1 point wherever you want, it doesn't really matter. You can grab the Step Through the Shadows. Now you have Dimension Door, Melee Power, and Sneak Attack dice. Grab some Sneak Attack dice right here, and then you can take Maximum Dexterity bonus with Light Armor, or just Reflex bonuses on saving throws, whatever it is you want, just 1 point somewhere. And then you have Darkest Luck, which gives you Evasion if you didn't have it, and then just generally +3 or +2 an extra Sneak Attack dice. So you're picking up 3 sneak attack dice, 15 melee power, 3 more for 6 sneak attack dice, and minus 30% threat for a super low investment. And then at that point, you can still pick up, if you want, getting the ability to have 5% double strike, double shot, and energy drain immunity. Just really, really strong, super low investment. Very, very good for this type of character. Moving on to Exalted Angel. Exalted Angel doesn't have as many super low investments. However, it has a couple very good things if you want to go up to at least 12 points, and that is the Destiny Mantle. By grabbing the angelic form here, picking up whatever, it doesn't really matter. Maybe even if you want to get some extra mana, that's not a big deal. You do kind of have to move up quite a bit to get up to where you want, but you can get Holy Presence. Holy Presence heals you every 6 seconds while you have the Destiny Mantle. Now, you may want to use another Destiny Mantle, especially if you're a spellcaster, because these effects, the angelic form only applies against spellcasts, so you may want to say, oh, I want to cast, you're a fire draconic, or not fire draconic, fire sorcerer, or maybe you're an artificer, and this doesn't seem as impactful to you. But it's important to note that the angelic form here applies damage to all of your spells, which is always good, and this heal is every 6 seconds, and it is massive. As long as you have this on, you basically can't die, and you don't really need to heal because of how much this heals you for. And it's not too deep. It's only level 23, and it's 11 points into the tree. Additionally, if you're at the higher levels, you can even take the angelic charge. And since this applies on every single spell cast, you're always getting that extra damage. And for a very small extra investment, you could also pick up the Cure Moderate Mass spell-like ability if you wanted even more healing, although that isn't actually necessary. So you're pretty good. So that's a really low investment, and this healing is insane. I'll even, actually, you know what, just for purposes of demonstration, I'll show you how much this is. So when I turn on angelic form right now, my character just standing still. Please tell me this is going to heal without me needing to take damage. I got to take damage. No, I didn't. 560. Just 560. Why am I healing for 560? Look at this. I'm not even touching the keyboard. Look how much health this is. So very good, very low investment. I don't even have a lot of healing spell power. So again, something crazy to think about. It doesn't give you any damage, but with the epic rebalance and you don't need as much damage, this is, if you kind of don't really want to have to pay attention to the game, melee, range doesn't matter. Angelic form with this extra holy presence is going to be keeping you up pretty much through anything you want to do, which is really nice. And then we have Primal Avatar. Primal Avatar here, an extremely low investment, has a few very, very powerful things. The first is that, of course, Rejuvenation Cocoon. Everybody can use this. It's only 3 points. Rejuvenation Cocoon right there. Spellcasters, melees, doesn't matter. You can cast this whenever you want. However, you can pick up the Spring to Summer ability here for AoE Rejuvenation Cocoon, and then you can grab Reborn in Fire. Reborn in Fire is an AoE heal and a damage, and the heal is pretty substantial. So for only 7 points, you have Rejuvenation Cocoon for yourself, AoE for you and all your friends, and also Reborn in the Fire for an AoE heal as well, plus some damage. It's important to note that while the Spring to Summer does share cooldown with your Epic Strike, so let's just say maybe you're playing a Draconic Incarnation, you like your Dragon Breath, or you're playing a Paladin and you're running in Fatesinger for that Sword Sings attack, or maybe you're using Dire Charge, you don't necessarily have to use Spring to Summer, but Reborn in the Fire and Rejuvenation Cocoon make fantastic AoE heals, both one for yourself and one for you and all your friends. And even better, if you want to spend slightly more points, you can take this Thrive ability, grab some extra Strength in Dex or Con, or Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma, which is just really nice. It's one of the few places in the tree that actually has stats. And you can grab the Upgrade, and the Upgrade makes it so when you cast Reborn in Fire, you get 25% uncapped dodge, which is just a really nice defensive boost. With Meld being gone, this gives you a huge amount of extra defense for a very short period of time, letting you both heal and slip out of danger for, again, not too large of an investment. Only, well, not even 22 points. It's only 21, but still very, very nice. You don't need to spend points anywhere else. The only other place I will say is another bit of investment in here. If you decide to go with Thorn, any character in the game can pretty much just grab Carrion Swarm. So if you're playing a life that kind of sucks, your damage sucks, your build sucks, you made a bunch of mistakes, don't worry. Just take Carrion Swarm and just walk through the rest of Epics with it, as it's going to do a good amount of damage to protect you and get you through all these adventures. So I wouldn't really worry about that. If you're a character, maybe you made a few bad decisions, don't worry about it. And then lastly, we're going to move into the last few Epic Destinies here. Fury of the Wild, Legendary Dreadnought, Shirati Champion. Fury of the Wild doesn't really have too many good low opportunities here. Of course, you have the Adrenaline Epic Strike, but in terms of just general utility, it's good to have, but it's not really going to help you like kind of stay alive for just a minor twist. It's more about killing people. Primal Scream is pretty good, except you want to invest in some of the higher stuff. So generally, if you're looking for a little bit of extra defense for low investment, Fury of the Wild, not really going to be the place you want to go. Kind of similar boat with Legendary Dreadnought. Dreadnought is good, and you can get Momentum Swing to allow your Dire Charge here if you want to use the Epic Strike as a knockdown. But again, this actually ties into your Epic Strike, so it's not as nice for a low investment. But if you don't have too many other things going on with Epic Strikes, maybe you're playing a build that doesn't really need them for whatever it is that you're doing, Momentum Swing is only 12 points, and you're able to pick up that Dire Charge stun. So it's pretty sweet. And then Shirati Champion is just the king of the crop when it comes to low investment. I'm saying Prism and maxing out either Stay Good or Stay Frosty for just 8 points. This makes it so any spellcaster is going to breeze through epic leveling with. You don't even need items equipped. You can probably just use these two abilities and just cast spells and you'll do fine. Shirati casters are extremely strong right now with Prism and Stay Good and Stay Frosty. It's actually a little bit stronger than classic Shirati all the way back in the day. So you're going to be getting some crazy results with this one. So if you're somebody who loves those magic missile spammer builds, now's the time to get in on it. Almost no investment. And this also works for just everything. Your warlocks, your sorcerers, your artificers. It doesn't matter. Everyone's having a good time with this. Multi-hit spells are even better. So Multi-Vial, Meteor Swarm, the Frost Lance, a lot of good options right there. Hell, Fire Seeds. No one casts that, but that's an option. So very, very powerful. And then also, of course, there might be people who use bows or whatever that can use this. Ranged characters can use it too. Repeating crossbows really love Prism and Stay Good in the early levels. So again, keep that in mind. Very good investment. And then at the end, we have Magus of the Eclipse. We have Grandmaster of Flowers. And then finally down here, we have Draconic Incarnation. So Magus of the Eclipse, for a low amount of investment, isn't super strong. Generally, you want to keep going a little bit higher. Cold Light of the Moon gets a bit of an investment up here. The summons are only okay for the small amount of investment. The only thing I would say is maybe Lunar Insight, because it does give you a 200% of your intelligence as temporary spell points whenever you decide to use Arcane Insight. It's a lot of extra spell points. You'd be surprised how far that goes, especially if you're pressing Arcane Insight all of the time. If you have like a 70 intelligence, an extra 140 spell points, not a huge extra amount, but it is noticeable, so it's not too bad there. But everything else, not really that great. The only thing I would say is that 11 points for Null Magic Aura. Null Magic Aura literally nullifies everything. So if you're looking to pick up a little bit of extra defense, or you just hate dying to magic, Null Magic Aura for 11 points, it's a 4-minute cooldown, but for 20 seconds you're immune to all spells. This includes Beholder anti-magic cones, dispelling spell-like abilities, and magical everything. It's so good. Magical damage, it doesn't matter. This just works. So don't worry about this. Just kind of go from there. The follow-up after that, Grandmaster Flowers. Grandmaster Flowers has almost nothing for a low investment other than bypasses. So if you're a melee and you just don't really have a way to get adamantine and other weapon types onto your build, you don't want to take the feats anymore, 11 points of Grandmaster actually gives you both the metal type, so 6 points for the metal type is really strong, especially since it gives you stunning DCs. Combining this with Legendary Dreadnought for Dire Charge, or combining this with just anything that wants to stun, if you use Stunning Blow, is really strong as a low investment. And then if you want, you could go up to the D alignment, but you don't need that super well. And then finally, Draconic Incarnation. In terms of low investment, the big thing that you can get here is either Dragon Breath just right away is nice to have for any spellcasters in the early leveling, although not super utility. However, the big utility is both Issue Materials right here for only 6 points, so no more need to carry around your actual spell components. And then, of course, actually having 10% spell cost reduction is super big for only 11 points, meaning so that you can just cast all your spells. So that's important. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have for the low investment. Hopefully, if you're thinking about where you can spend a couple of points here and there, especially for early leveling, all of these things, super low investment in some cases to get a lot of big power. I'm talking Shirati Champion, Unyielding Sentinel for the renewal, Fate Singer for just the incredible stunning capability. You have a lot of things that are super low investment and very, very strong. And with the way that epics are scaling right now, there's no reason to spend a couple points just to invest in something else. Anyways, if you like what you're seeing here, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe as there's more content coming out. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I am going to turn silent.